Hi guys, this is Dormouse03 continuing my Assassin's Creed 3 Perfectionist Guide, where I will be attaining 100% synchronization in all of the main missions and fulfilling all those constraints. So this is sequence 5. I'm just showing you right here. You run around in the woods a little bit and you will probably, whenever you kill something, you'll get that achievement because someone will see you and invite you to the hunting club. So there's a lot of running around in this sequence. It's sort of more tutorial stuff, and so I'm going to cut out a lot of going from point A to point B. So eventually you follow your markers to this homestead. You knock on the door, and then he turns you away, and you have to go to the stables. And you do this a few times, but I'm going to cut that out because it's just going back and forth from the house to the stables. And eventually you'll get here to where you have your first, or I guess it's the only optional objective in this mission. So you just want to limit your health loss to 50%, and it's not too hard. It's the same combat that you've done before. You just counter and kill the opponents, and they do throw kind of a few of them at you, so you just want to make sure that you move to an area where you can see them. Like I got stuck there in a spot where the camera was super close and I couldn't see the dudes, so I wanted to make sure to move out into the open where you can see everyone and figure out what you're doing. And so if someone grabs you like that, you want to push X a bunch of times until you throw them off. And this is an example of the sort of double counter thing that you can do, which I think is really awesome. I love that they put that into the game. Because you don't even have to really push anything immediately when you counter those guys. If you counter 2 of them at once, you go into that animation. So there you go, that's it. It's not super hard to get that, but then you follow Achilles around a little bit and you will have full sync in that mission. And then this will be the second one. And again, I'm going to be trimming out some stuff. This is where you end up at a general store, because you do some following around and then you'll end up here. And you just go into the store and it'll give you a cutscene. I don't think you have to actually interact with the guy at all. It just does a little cutscene and then you go back out. And this will be the part of the mission where there's actually some things where you have to do other than just go from point A to point B. So when you come back, you're going to follow Achilles around, and then you're going to be going to the section where it recreates the Boston Massacre, which is pretty cool. And you're going to have to follow a guy around and then assassinate him, and it's the same sort of following around that you have been doing and will be doing for this sort of mission. You just want to make sure that you stay sort of close but not too close, and whenever they go around a corner, kind of run to catch up, and then peek around the corner and then follow. And it's all your standard kind of stuff. If you can blend into crowds and things, that's good. But this little peeking around the corner mechanic is a really, really good addition. It helps a lot when you're trying to do this kind of thing. So right now I'm trying to stay sort of close to him. You want to make sure you stay kind of blended with these guys. Whenever you have the little dot above your head and the crowd people have the little dots above their head, that means that you're blending with them. And this guy sort of gives you the runaround, and you just want to make sure you stay semi-close to him. He's not really going to get away from you too much, because he basically just walks around behind this building and then up on top of it. And you do have a grace period of 15 seconds where if he is out of your line of sight, you can catch back up with him. And so now you have 10 seconds to go over here and kill him, which is pretty easy. And now you have your optional objective for this mission. So it's to escape within a minute and 30 seconds, a minute and 20 seconds. And you don't want to do what I do, which is run around too much in the town. You do want to do probably what I do here at the end, which is get over to this water and dive in and just swim. This was sort of the way that I always got away from people and became anonymous in other Assassin's Creed games, and it works here too, although it does put you in the yellow here for quite a bit of time. So if you get over here though, before I did, if you sort of run straight to the harbor, and probably if you run a little bit farther out before you jump into the water, that will probably help you too. But that's a good way to make it so that they can't really see you anymore, and you'll get full sync there. You can also, you know, go find a hiding spot. You can do any number of things to get out of that situation. So that's just one that is sort of my staple go-to: dive in the water and swim far enough away so that they can't see you anymore. So right now it's introducing you to the notoriety mechanic and pulling down the wanted posters and bribing the dudes and all of that good stuff that you should be familiar with if you've played these games before. So right now I'm trying to find where the wanted posters are, and these guys are I mean, you have your highest notoriety rating of the 3 little flashing dots in that left hand corner to the right of the minimap. So I get over here, I see that there are a couple of posters over in this area, and I'm like, okay, this is where I want to be, and now I'm just gonna kill everybody. I'm sure it is possible to stealth your way over here, but that's not what I did. And you're already at high notoriety, and so it feels like sneaking just isn't super necessary. You just want to get to a place where there are some posters around, and then I really like that when you can grab a dude and throw him in front of some people shooting. It's pretty nice. But you want to get to a spot where it has some of those yellow icons for the posters, and then you just want to murder everybody around. And once you murder a lot of dudes, then it will put you into you're out of open conflict, and you can go and pick up the posters. So I finally killed all of those guys. I got some nice catharsis from leaving a trail of bodies, and now you just go up and interact with these posters to rip them down and fulfill the constraints of the mission. I trim out a little bit here where I looted all these bodies, because you don't need to know how to do that. And you go right around this corner, and here will be your second wanted poster. And that will take you back down to one circle of notoriety. And then you just go back and meet back up with Sam Adams. And then he's going to show you how to do a few other things. He'll show you how to bribe the heralds, and he'll also show you how to go to a printing press, and that's what we're doing right now, going to a printer and getting him to print out things that say it's like reverse propaganda or something like that. It's interesting. Anyway, so you have an optional constraint right now, which I guess I should talk about, which is you don't want your notoriety to go up to 3. And so my goal here was to not get my notoriety up at all, because once it starts going up, then guards are going to start attacking you, they're going to start being more suspicious of you, and it's easier for it to get up pretty high. So I just wanted to avoid groups of guards as I could, and it's not that hard to do because they're not that suspicious of you at this moment in time. You just sort of want to make your way toward this waypoint and avoid crossing paths with them as much as you can, and that'll help you avoid some conflict and meet this mission constraint. And so now the dot here is in this building, and there are guards posted at the entrances to all these alleyways, which is fantastic. And so you could probably kill these guys, but I didn't want to risk it because I didn't want to have to do this over again. And so I went around to search for another entrance, and lo and behold, there are more dudes posted at the other back way into this building, or into this alleyway. And so instead of trying to take them out and get lucky that I didn't call attention, I just sort of went up the side of the building here and dropped down to where the waypoint is. And none of the guards are the wiser, and you will get your 100% sync here. And so you will have fulfilled that objective of not raising your notoriety, and you'll get all your points there. So this next section is just an introduction to the Boston Underground, and so I'm speeding this up a bit because it's basically just following your waypoint through these underground tunnels, and it's an interesting sort of system. It unlocks these different points throughout the city where you can fast travel, and so by the end of this mission you will have unlocked 2 of 10 of them within Boston, and so I would definitely suggest coming back down here and trying to unlock all of them, because it will make it easier in upcoming missions to be able to fast travel around the city to different points. And so that's pretty cool, but you basically just follow your waypoints all the way over to the end, and then you will have to pick a lock on the door in order to open it up. And it's the same lock picking that you've done for other things, rotating left stick, rotating right stick, and then rapidly pushing the right trigger. And you'll unlock the door and open up your travel station. And so the next mission is basically just, again, following Sam Adams from point A to point B, showing you the printers and all that, and so there wasn't really much for me to show you here, so I just sort of sped through it. The next mission, well, will be on the homestead. You'll go and you'll talk to Achilles, and that's like one thing, and then you will but that's just a cutscene. And the next actual thing that you're going to be doing is this river rescue. And so you talk to this guy, and this is sort of introducing you to the homestead missions, although it's, I guess, not technically a homestead mission, because it's a main mission, but in any case, you talk to the dude, you follow him down, and you're gonna find that his buddy is in trouble in the river, and you're gonna need to rescue him, hence the name River Rescue. Woohoo, it makes sense. So, the optional constraint here is to not touch the water, and it's sort of confusing. I restarted a couple of times because I wasn't sure how in the world you were supposed to save this guy without touching the water, which will become more clear once we get there. But basically I'm just following the rocks and trees and things around, making sure that you're going quickly, but you're not going faster than you can realize where you're going to be running and jumping to next, because if you do, then you'll find yourself jumping off the wrong direction into the water and having to restart, and that's no good. So you just want to make sure that you know where you're going. And so now you get up here, and this is the point where you need to rescue the guy. But I'm like, how in the world am I supposed to rescue him without getting into the water? And so the answer is that you can't. You have to dive into the water to get him, but that doesn't count. As long as you haven't touched the water before you actually get to him, then you have completed that optional constraint and will get your 100% sync for the mission, which is pretty confusing. And like I said, I restarted it a few times because I thought that I had failed, or that I was going to fail. So just be aware of that. You just want to make sure that you don't dive into the water until you're actually caught up to him to be able to rescue him. So this next part is just teaching you how to do the stockpile and trading and sending out convoys and that sort of thing. And it's pretty simple. It's a tutorial. It's showing you how to do it, so there's not much to say here. You do get an achievement for sending out one of these convoys to each part of the world, so to New York, Boston, and the Frontier. And so the last mission of this sequence is called The Hard Way, and it's introducing you to the naval sections. So you're going to be driving or steering, commanding the ship, and you are going to be engaging in some naval combat. So this part is pretty easy, and it takes a fair amount of time to go through, so it's just so I sped it up a bit. So it's just teaching you how to sail, and so you're pushing A to go full sail. Well, when you aren't moving, you push A to go half sail, and then A again to go full sail. Then you can push B to go half sail again, and then one more time push B to stop. And you have more control over making turns when you're at half sail than you do at full sail. And the strip of green on your mini-map there is showing you the wind, and when it's green it's telling you that you are going with the wind, and so that's going to help your speed. If it's and the direction of it shows like the direction that the wind is blowing. And so you just want to make sure to follow that other ship sort of, and to be aware of where the wind is blowing, so that you don't run into the rocks, and you will not have much trouble with fulfilling that optional objective to not get damaged. So yeah, just make sure you use your half sails when you need to make turns and whatnot, and when the wind changes suddenly, put it back down to half sails or full stop to keep yourself from crashing into rocks and things. And so that optional objective will be completed, and then you'll go up here and it's going to show you how to shoot the cannons. And so you push right trigger to fire your cannons, and then you will also have a swivel gun, and so you'll hold down left trigger and sort of aim at weak spots to use the swivel gun to take out ships as well. And so this part of the mission is when you're going to actually engage some enemies, and this is the part where I had some trouble here, but it was mostly because I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing, because it gives you these objectives and it doesn't really tell you how to how to do the first one that's listed until later. And I was confused. So I figured out that you hold down X to brace, and so whenever the enemies fire, you hear them fire, you can push X to brace. You do that 3 times and you will have completed that first objective. But you don't actually need to do that right now, because it will tell you how to do that at another part. So which is really confusing, because that one is listed first, but it's actually taught to you later. So right now you really just want to use your swivel guns to destroy at least 2 of the ships, probably all 3 of them, because the swivel gun is just, it's easier for me to sort of grasp what I'm doing with it. The cannons are a little bit more finicky, because you have to sort of lead your shots and make sure that waves aren't coming in between you and whatnot. And so the swivel gun is a more precise way, I guess, to take out the ships. So but this is just sort of showing you that you can you see how I didn't lead that ship and I completely missed with the cannons. So I really enjoy the swivel gun when you can use it. On some things you can't, because they are armored or whatnot, and it just takes too many shots, and you have to use the cannons to open up a weak point and then shoot it or something like that. So in any case, once you brace 3 times and take out 2 of the ships with the swivel gun, you will have all of your optional objectives, and you can just finish out this mission. And so that's the 3rd ship down, and then it's going to bring you another another big ship. So and your captain is betwaddled, so it's kind of funny. This fight took me a little while, just because I was still getting used to how to use the weapons, and so I'm gonna cut to the end here. But basically, it's the same thing. You want to use your main cannons here on this ship, because the swivel gun is not really that effective. That strip of white on the water is showing you where the cannons are gonna fire. And so, I don't know, I was just kind of confused about how to how to do what it was wanting me to do, because this is one of the pretty new parts to this game. So, and the ships sort of circle around you and make it difficult at times for you to catch up to them and get some good shots on them, but that's exactly what you want to do right there. Try to get yourself in line with them and lead your shot, so that you get them with those big cannons. So that is the end of that mission, and the end of this sequence. So you will get your full sync for the hard way, and you will now have full synchronization in sequence 5. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that this has been helpful for you. This was another sort of tutorial chapter, but that's kind of the end of the tutorials. So we're into the big stuff now, in sequence 6. So I will see you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in sequence 6.